Hey, what's up, everybody? So I have another great message here. I had someone ask me a question about meditation. What's my experience with it for a busy mind? Someone they say they have a difficult time slowing their mind down, which I believe a lot of people do, especially in the fitness industry, because in the fitness industry we tend to contract all the time, right? We tend to always be pushing, using our willpower to keep going and going. And that's good to a certain extent, but the body requires balance, yin and yang. Okay, if we're always pushing, then we're never giving ourselves enough time to heal, to relax, to rest. And what I've noticed, especially through my massage practice, because I work with a lot of MMA fighters, a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of fitness competitors, things like that, that especially during like some kind of event or contest prep, we don't slow down. And when we don't slow down, our central nervous system kind of gets stuck in the fight or flight position. There's two sides. There's fight or flight and rest and digest, right? We need both because there are many functions that are performed on both levels that our body requires to function optimally. And any professional athlete, that's like on a professional sports team, or anyone that um, is at the higher echelon of sports. They get massages regularly. They get acupuncture. They meditate, or they take, they do cryotherapy or take ice baths. They do floating or sensory deprivation therapy. There are so many ways that we can use to slow everything down. My take on it is meditation, or at least utilizing some form of relaxation to slow the mind down is critical. And not just athletics, but to keep fucking sane, right? Because because if we keep going and going and going, eventually it kind of takes over on its own, and then all of a sudden now this is going, but we want to slow down because we're exhausted, right? And exhaustion sucks. But at that point, when we get to that point, we can't slow down. We don't know how to, because now it's taking on a life of its own, because we're stuck in that position. And I've helped a lot of people to learn how to breathe and to relax. And once they do, they're like, oh my God, they need to sleep for 2 days because their body needs to catch up. Like, what the hell just happened? Oh my God, I'm so sore. I feel so great. I feel high, right? When we contract and we compress everything, we hold things in our fascia, in our tissue. Our muscles can't recover as quickly because there's like a barrier there. The fascia gets thick because it takes on this protective mode. Right? We're not meant to be in fight or flight mode all the time. So some methods that I use to slow my mind down, because I am incredibly ambitious. I'm always trying to create and move bigger, better, faster, harder, stronger, what have you, in every aspect of my life. So I need to be stubborn about my stubbornness, so that I can like force myself to slow down every now and then. So I like to float about once a month. Now, floating, if you don't know what that is, um, I'm not sure around the United States. It's starting to pop up here in Las Vegas. They're kind of everywhere. But sensory deprivation is basically a big pod that you lay in that's soundproof and lightproof, and it's filled with water that's, I think, maybe a foot and a half deep, and it's filled with 1,200 pounds of Epsom salt. That makes you float, one, more like float higher, and two, is also incredibly detoxifying to the body, which is always good. And with the sensory deprivation, the soundproof and the lightproof, when you go in there and lay down, first of all, you can relax your body to the point where you feel like you're floating in space. It's so cool. I highly recommend you try it out. And also, with the deprivation of the senses, it allows your body to relax and go into rest and digest mode like 10 times faster. It's absolutely amazing. It brings your brain waves down into theta, uh, into the theta zone, and theta is where inspiration comes in. That's where like Buddhist monks try to live. Okay, that's the place where we open everything up to like intuitive guidance, well, which is crazy important. There's beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Technically gamma too, but I don't really count gamma because it's in another realm. Um, but beta is like where we are during the day when we're trying to accomplish goals, right? Beta waves are what we get stuck in. That's the fight or flight position. Okay, alpha is when they slow down some, and that's like a more of a meditative state. And then theta is where it's really deep, where it really opens up, and where our body really transitions and transforms too. Okay, I also use binaural beats. Now you can go on YouTube and you can just type in binaural beats, and pretty much for anything, anxiety, fear, depression, even, you know, sexual function, recovery, you name it, there's a binaural beat for it. And what that is, it's binaural two frequencies that go into each ear. Usually you have to wear headphones with it. And when you put these headphones on, these two frequencies go into your inner ear and they create a third frequency. And that third frequency directly affects your brain function or your brain waves. Okay, so some of them can be alpha, theta, delta. And when we do this, if we kind of force the alpha waves to increase, that increase automatically decreases the beta wave. So if our mind has a hard time shutting down, throw on some binaural beats, take some deep breaths, and let that sit there for 10-20 minutes. I guarantee you forget what you were thinking about before you started. It really works. I've seen it change people's lives. Incredibly effective. Usually because I have really bad insomnia too, ever since I got back from Iraq in 2011. I use binaural beats to help me sleep. Usually it works. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. We always have those days. But it's another tool that you can use in your arsenal to practice with. I do yoga as well. I prefer yin yoga, and that really helps to open me up. And the more balanced our body is, and the more open the tissue is, the better we're able to relax, and the more balanced even our mind will be. Okay, so you can try yoga or just functional type stretching, or get like a fascial stretch therapy session. That really helps to unlock all the blockages too, and slowing the mind down. And I tend, now that I practice that on a regular basis, I tend to approach everything with a slower mind. And it's also taught me patience too. You know, they say never to make a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion. And when our mind is in fight or flight mode, we tend to be emotional or make emotional decisions. I know I made that mistake lots of times. So I'm really adamant about correcting that as well. So breathing techniques, all right? Strengthening your diaphragm is probably one of the most important muscles. The diaphragm and I'd say the psoas are probably the two most important muscles that you can strengthen in the body to help balance out. The diaphragm will help it directly affects your central nervous system. So the breathing with the yoga, the breathing with the binaural beats, the breathing with the sensory deprivation tank. The breathing is really the more central aspect of it. And you'll find that once you do relax, your breathing will change too. Normally fight or flight, our breathing is shorter and it's more like shorter and quicker. When we're relaxed, when we're in rest and digest, it's relaxed. See that difference? That difference makes all the difference in the world. So like when I first started, or if I'm having like a really intense like anxiety, I'll check out for a minute, close my eyes wherever I'm at, or go to the bathroom or something, or just get away from people for a minute whenever I can. And I'll take 10 slow, deep breaths. And on the exhale, I kind of deflate my body and I let it all go. So those are my pieces of advice for you. To slow your mind down, and I'm telling you, when you make this a consistent practice, that will change your life. It'll really make a big difference. So good luck with that, and let me know how this stuff works for you. And if you need any more clarification, I'm happy to give it to you. All right, have a good day.